Hello and welcome to NewsX. I am Paras Nagar. Australia is set to make global headlines when its new law banning users under the age of 16 from major social media platform comes into effect on December 10, 2025. In a notable response, tech giants Meta Platforms, which owns Facebook and Instagram, TikTok and Snap Inc., parent company of Snapchat, have confirmed that they will comply with the new legislation despite expressing profound concerns about its practicality and unintended consequences. Under the new law, platforms must take reasonable steps to block users under age of 16 from creating or maintaining accounts or face fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars for non-compliance. The company cited technical and operational challenges such as verifying age, identifying existing underage users, and preventing workarounds, but have nonetheless pledged to meet the deadline. For Meta, TikTok, and Snap, the task is formidable. Meta estimates that it must manage around 450,000 under 16 accounts in Australia, while TikTok puts the number closer to 200,000 and Snap around 440,000. Their plans include notifying users identified as underage, offering data download or storage options prior to deactivation, and deploying behavior based systems to flag accounts with suspicious age claims. Why this matters? This is one of the strictest regulatory efforts globally to protect youth from online harm by restricting full access to social platforms during a formative age window. It signals a shift. Governments are increasingly ready to hold platforms directly accountable not just via content moderation but through access and membership rules. For the tech firms, compliance becomes a balancing act. They must implement aggressive age assurance measures without sacrificing scalability, user experience, or risking privacy backlash. Finally, the law has global ripple effects. If Australia succeeds or struggles, other countries will watch closely and may follow suit, shaping the future of how young people interact online. What to watch next? How effectively platforms manage to identify and remove existing under 16 accounts, and whether any major misidentifications occur. Whether the measure drives under 16 users to lesser regulated corners of the internet, creating new risks rather than reducing them. How other nations respond. Will they introduce a similar age-based restrictions or oppose the idea as technically infeasible or counterproductive? How tech firms adapt long term. Will they build something similar age assurance systems globally? And what will the cost and privacy implications be? Australia's upcoming under 16 social media ban is a bold experiment in digital regulation, and major tech firms, though skeptical, are gearing up to comply. What happens next may shape youth access to social media around the world. Moving on to our next story, we bring you an update on Amazon's sweeping corporate restructuring. The company has confirmed it will cut approximately 14,000 roles, representing about 4% of its corporate workforce, as it pushes ahead with a leaner and more agile organizational model. The reductions are part of Amazon's broader transformation strategy. The company says it is focused on eliminating unnecessary layers of management, cutting bureaucracy, and redirecting resources towards its major bets, particularly in artificial intelligence and cloud computing. While some teams will be downsized, Amazon also plans to hire in key strategic areas in 2026, signaling that the layoffs are targeted rather than a general hiring freeze. For the employees affected, Amazon says it will offer internal job search opportunities for 90 days, prioritize internal redeployment, and provide severance, outplacement services, and continued health benefits to those who transition out of the company. The move underscores the message that even though Amazon remains strong in performance and innovation, the pace of change in technology and business demands organizational evolution. Why this matters? For workers, it signals that job stability in even the largest tech firms is conditional, and that roles deemed non aligned with the company's future roadmap can be at risk. For the tech industry overall, Amazon's step highlights how companies are tying workforce strategy to AI driven transformation, suggesting a wider shift in how employment and human capital will be managed. For the economy, the announcement may mark an inflection point in the talent market, What had been described as a no fire phase could now give way to more widespread restructuring. What should we watch next? How effectively Amazon manages the transition for impacted employees and how internal mobility plays out in practice. Which strategic area Amazon expands into during 2026 and whether the hiring there offsets or exceeds the job cuts. How this move influences other major tech firms, whether they follow Amazon's lead in cutting roles or investing heavily in AI and automation. The broader labor market signal this sends whether corporate workforce reduction becomes more common across sectors as companies adapt to rapid technological change. Amazon's latest announcement is not just about job cuts, it's about reshaping the company for its next phase of growth in the age of AI. The workforce change may cause short term uncertainty, but for Amazon, it is framed as a necessary step toward future readiness. Moving on to outer space and astronomy, the discovery of 3I/Atlas, a comet that has entered our solar system from interstellar space and is defying many of the long standing rules of comet behavior. Astronomers have determined that Atlas is the third known object of its kind, an interstellar visitor. Its strategy shows that it came in at high speed and its orbit is hyperbolic, meaning it is not bound by the sun's gravity in the way most comets are. What's especially curious is how the comet behaves. Initially, it displayed a tail pointing toward the sun, the opposite of what we typically expect. Since solar radiation normally blows dust outward, away from the sun, over time its tail evolved back into the more conventional anti solar direction. What's behind the sun facing tail? One explanation: as the comet drew closer to the sun, grains of water and ice released into the sunlight side by the CO2 sublimation created the unusual plume. As the comet became warmer, larger, or different types of grain took over and the pattern shifted back. But that's not all. The composition of 3I Atlas also stands out. Spectral data indicates an unusually high ratio of carbon dioxide relative to water as well as metal content. Nickel concentrations higher than typical for a comet and relatively low iron levels. Some scientists have even posed provocative questions while there is no direct evidence that this object is artificial. Its oddities have led to speculation about whether it might, in theory, represent a techno signature or a probe of some kind. Most experts emphasize that a natural origin is far more likely. But it's the kind of object that forces us to ask harder questions about the diversity of cometary bodies. Why this matters? It gives us a rare window into material and processes from beyond our solar system, offering clues about how other planetary systems may form and evolve. It challenges our models of comet behavior, dust dynamics, and composition under different cosmic conditions. It reminds us that our understanding of the universe is still being tested. Objects like 3I/Atlas defy straightforward categorization and prompt new science. Looking ahead, will the trajectories or outgassing of Atlas show any anomalous accelerations or behaviors that our current models cannot explain? As it moves further into the inner solar system, how will its dust and gas production change? And what will that tell us about its structure and origin? Will future interstellar visitors behave similarly, or will tools and telescopes be ready to capture them early, giving us deeper insight? Atlas isn't just another comet, it's a milestone in our cosmic journey, a visitor from elsewhere whose behavior and composition are rewriting parts of what we thought we knew. I am Paras Nagar and you're watching NewsX. Stay with us for more such updates.